This is MAC 1140, final exam, question 15. And it reads, a ball is thrown straight up. Its height is in feet after t seconds, is given by the function h of t equals negative 16t squared plus 64t. Then it asks, what's the ball's maximum height? So to figure this out, well, let's think about if we were to graph this function, h of t, what would it look like? Well, we know from seeing that we have a t squared term here, that it's going to be a parabola. And the coefficient of the t squared term is negative, which means it's a parabola and it opens down. So it looks like this. So the maximum will be whatever y value is achieved at the vertex, and this is called the vertex. It's the point of symmetry. Like the axis of symmetry is a vertical line that divides the parabola into halves, and the vertex is the point on that line. So we know so yeah, with that in mind, so like fact, we'll just write fact. A parabola opening down reaches a max at its vertex. Okay, well, how do you find the vertex of a parabola is our next question. Well, as I alluded to, it's very heavily related to the axis of symmetry. So just to remind you, the axis of symmetry, and another fact that I'll put here, so I'll write like fact 1, and this will be fact 2. So, right, this leads off of fact 1. So fact 1 said at its vertex. Well, this fact 2 will be how to find a vertex. If a parabola, and we'll call the parabola f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c. If a parabola has this form, so let's just say if parabola f of x is that, like this doesn't need to be in English, just we're saying that the parabola has this form right here, then the parabola's axis of symmetry, again, here's like a picture we'll refer to. The axis of symmetry is like the vertical line through which the parabola is symmetric. In other words, you can think of folding in half along this line, and this part of the parabola would meet up exactly with the other part. So we can get if we have a parabola written in this form, where we can readily get the coefficients of the x and of the x's, then, well, the parabola's axis of symmetry has equation x equals negative b over 2a. Okay, it's an equation x equals because that's the equation of a vertical line is x equals something, and that number is negative b over 2a, where a and b are the coefficients of the x squared and the x terms respectively. Okay, so we'll fill this information in based on our parabola. So to solve, I'll write answer, or just ants. So our parabola, what is our parabola's axis of symmetry? Well, here, let's think about our parabola in this form. Ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, well, a is a number in front of x squared, so we have a is equal to, I'll just write it right here. A is equal to negative 16. B is equal to, well, b is the number in front of t, so b is going to be 64. And never mind the fact that there are x's here, t's here. Those aren't, we're not looking at the variable, we're looking at the coefficients. And c, well, it's just the constant term. So there's no constant term in our parabola, which means that c is 0, but c doesn't play into our axis of symmetry anyways. Anyways, our parabola has axis of, I'll just write sim for symmetry, and it's x equals, okay, our formula is negative b over 2a. What is negative b? It's negative 64 over 2 times a. 2 times negative 16 is negative 32. So what is negative 64 divided by negative 32? Well, negatives cancel, and 64 divided by 32 is 2. So in other words, if this is our parabola, then this is the vertical line, x equals 2. So a parabola that opens down reaches its maximum at its vertex, and the vertex is on this line. It's on x equals 2. So from here, what we do is we simply plug in x value 2 into our parabola. And so it won't be an x value, it'll be a t value. But well, I'll write t equals 2 then. And this will be t. So minor thing, but yeah, you use this formula to get the value to plug into your parabola. So now, now we need to find, so this tells us that at time t equals 2, that is when the ball is at maximum height. So now what is the maximum height there? Plug that value back into your height function. So h of 2 is equal to negative 16 times 4 plus 64 times 2. So negative 16 times 4 is negative 64 times 2, which is negative 128. Negative 128 plus 64 times 2 is 128. So negative 64, oh, okay, so this is negative 16 times 4. That is, I just did an error, actually it's not negative 128. Negative 16 times 4 is negative 32 times 2, so it's negative 64. So that's just a small error there. So we have negative 64 plus 128, that's equal to 64. So this is our final answer, the height at time 2, which would be our maximum height. And that is answer C.